I have a lot of health problems, mental and physical. Personally, I feel like my mental health problems are a lot bigger and have more of a toll on me. And they're really hard to deal with. If you don't know already, or if you don't really know much about mental health, when you have something like depression or schizophrenia or PTSD or ADHD, anxiety, bipolar disorder, all those things, you can't treat it like a lot of other illnesses or like injuries or stuff like that, If you break your arm, you get a cast. And I feel like most of the time that's what happens, and most of the time it gets better. I've never had a broken bone, so personally I wouldn't know. But that's kind of the 2 + 2 = 4 equation for most physical things. If you have a headache, drink water, take ibuprofen or something. That kind of idea where, okay, you have this is how we treat it, and then you're done. And we never have to talk about it again unless it's something more serious or if there's a problem with it. And mental health is not like that. It's really complicated because there are so many mental illnesses, and each one is different, and even people with the same ones treat it in completely different ways. But for the solutions, sometimes it does feel like that 2 + 2 health equation, A lot of the times, I'm gonna use depression as an example. A lot of times when you have depression, they say, okay, we're gonna put you on a medication, you should go to therapy. And those are kind of the two things that are really supposed to work. And I feel like it does for most people, but it doesn't work overnight. It takes a journey to figure out what exactly works for you. Personally, I've been on a lot of different medications. I've switched around, I've switched dosages. I'm currently on 4 medications for 4 different things. And some of them are for my mental illnesses, some of them are not. Excuse me. I've tried therapy in the past, kind of traditional, normal therapy, mostly, I don't remember what it's called, but like cognitive behavioral therapy. I feel like it's kind of usually what I've done. And it's really hard to find a good therapist. And I feel so happy for all the people out there who have really great relationships with their therapists, and that's something that really works for them. I think that's great, and I think it is something that can work for a lot of people. And it did work for me at one point. I used to have a really great therapist, but then he moved. So that's something I tried that didn't really work out. Personally, I just find it really hard to open up to strangers and kind of talk about that sort of stuff, which I feel like why therapy and counseling has been hard. Because, you're going to a stranger and you're expected to talk about all of your life's problems and your insecurities and your past and your trauma and your pain. And that's a lot of stuff to talk about, and a lot of heavy stuff as well. And it's really hard to just say that to a stranger, I have a lot of trust issues with that. And I just really don't even talk to anyone about it, which I know is really unhealthy. but it's the truth. So that is something I've struggled with. One of my family members and I have really been trying to find a solution for me. Find a good medication, one that works, and find a really good dosage. We've tried therapists in the past before, which really hasn't helped. We're starting to look again. We've done this psychoneurological something kind of test. We've done a lot, and I still don't have answers, which is really frustrating. And I've tried a few things. I don't feel like I've tried everything. I've tried lots of medications. We're still trying to figure that part out. Like I said, I've tried therapy. Currently don't go to a therapist. I've tried doing online therapy. I used BetterHelp, which is a service that a lot of people don't like, or they're kind of harsh on, and a lot of influencers have been promoting. My experience with that wasn't a bad experience, but it wasn't great. First of all, it's freaking expensive, and I don't even know if they have anything to do with insurance companies or if they take any insurance companies. That was never an option when I signed up, or maybe I just didn't look hard enough. I don't know, but that was a thing that I paid for myself and I couldn't keep doing because it was so expensive. It's also really hard to find a good therapist on there. I tried a few people and no one really clicked with. I stuck with this one person for a few months, which is pretty good for me, but they never really had what I was looking for. And I did learn a few things from them, but I ended up deleting the app and the subscription because it wasn't necessarily having a huge positive impact on me, and it was way too expensive. So I've tried that. I use CBD oil. It's not the same as marijuana. It's different. I live in a state where marijuana, medical and recreational, is currently illegal, but CBD is, so it's not the same thing. It gives you kind of the medicinal elements of marijuana, but not the high. So I use CBD oils in a diffuser, and I usually turn it on when I go to sleep at night, or if I'm chilling in my room, getting ready to go to bed or something, I'll turn it on. And I don't get high every single night. It's not that. I'm clean. I've never used drugs before, but it is really relaxing. I really do like that. And then there are a lot of other treatments out there that are kind of more out of the box that I would be interested in. One of them, I wish I could get massages more. I am a very active person. I wish I could get massages more. I feel like massages would help, but those are expensive. I've kind of changed up my diet. I feel like I'm a pretty average eater. I'm not on anything extreme. I'm not keto or paleo or vegan or anything. But I've tried to take that into account. I keep forgetting the word for it. Acupuncture? That's what it is. Reopen to looking into acupuncture. That's like an out-of-the-box thing. That sounds interesting, but I kind of get nervous around needles. I'm not really afraid of them, but they do kind of freak me out. Just because I'm worried I'm going to pass out, because I have a few people in my family that whenever they get their blood drawn, they pass out. And I've never passed out, but that still kind of freaks me out. So I feel like I've tried a lot of things and I'm still trying a lot of things, but it's the in between when you're trying to figure something out that I feel like is really awful. The past few weeks have not been good. I haven't been doing great. And there's a lot of ways to cope with any kind of illness, whether it be a cold or something mental or something physical or something chronic. There's a lot of ways to combat it, and it's different for every single person. And some of them are positive and some of them are negative. And honestly, I've had some days where I feel like I have some decent positive coping mechanisms. I try and take into account like how much water I've had, when the last time I ate was, whether I've had physical exercise, whether I've spent time with my dog, because I literally have no friends, and she's not an emotional support dog, but she makes me feel better. I'm really close with one of my siblings. Sometimes I'll hang out with her. So I feel like there are some good positive coping mechanisms, or just like signals that you need to look out for that something's off. And I have had a lot of personal experiences with mental illness and suicide, personally, and I've been affected by quite a few family members and friends. And I had this one friend when I was younger, and she was kind of the first person I ever saw really struggle with depression, and she self-harmed, and that was kind of the first time I had seen that kind of thing, and I kind of became aware of it because of that. And people like her, or just stories I've read, or other people I know that have struggled, who have those bad ways to deal with it, like self-harm, or, they drink, they do drugs, they hurt other people, they do like things that are illegal, just those paths that you take because you want to feel better, but will end up leading you to somewhere worse in the end, kind of stuff. I would never do any of those things. I have been too personally affected by suicide where even on my worst days, I'm never gonna kill myself. I just couldn't do that with the things I've experienced. I wouldn't self-harm in any way, shape, or form because of that friend, and it didn't really make her feel better in the long run, and it just caused more problems for her. I'm not old enough to drink or use any kind of drugs, tobacco at least. I know there's people who do that who are underage, but I'm not one of those. I wouldn't even have a source to get them. Not even alcohol. None of my family or friends drink. It would be kind of a mission to get that kind of stuff. But I would never do that. At least not right now. Maybe when I'm older in a more stable place. But not right now. I did used to steal a little bit. And it wasn't ever anything major. It was just like cheap, stupid stuff. And I never got caught, which I guess is a good thing. I mean, I'm not in jail, but I'm not doing that anymore because I recognized that it was bad and that I needed to stop. And I was really just doing it for fun, and that it wasn't really going to help me at all. So there are a lot of bad ways to deal with what I'm going through that I don't do and I never will do. But I have been in places where, just with what I'm experiencing, where I can see how people do those things. It makes sense to me somehow why people hurt themselves or others, why they drink, use drugs, that kind of thing. And I hate to say that. I hate to say that I've been in those places, but I have. I've never done that, but I mean, I can understand it. I can see how it might help, even for a little while. Honestly, the worst place for me to be mentally is in that spot where I'm like, if I drank a lot, I could see myself drinking right now. Or if I wasn't more conscious about my food, I can see myself like starving or overeating and binging type thing. If I had like access to drugs or something, which I don't, I can see how I would want to use drugs right now. And like I said, I would never do any of those things. But when I'm in that place mentally, I also feel like I can't do anything positive that would make me feel better. There are just times where I'm laying in my bed and it kind of feels like I'm in a jail cell because I'm not going to get out there and do anything bad because I know that would make everything worse. But I'm too tired or just in so much pain where it's really hard to get up and get a glass of water or take a shower or go on a walk. And sometimes I'll watch a movie or something on YouTube to make me feel better, or play a game or draw. I just lay there and I'm in pain and I do nothing because I'm not going to do anything bad, but I can't do anything good either. I feel like that is the worst place to be, because some days I'll be, not doing great, but I can still have the energy to get up and go make myself something healthy to eat, or take my dog on a walk, or take a relaxing bath or something. But there are just those days where sometimes I feel like my bedroom is like a room in a mental hospital or some kind of solitary confinement cell, because I'm just in there and my room is dirty because it's always dirty. I'm not good at cleaning my room. So I'm just laying there surrounded by dirty clothes and garbage, in a bad mood and not doing anything to change it, whether it be positive or negative. And I was in one of those moods today, and I really hate it. I just went to Target and I walked around and I wasn't even aware of what I was doing. If someone had secretly slipped something into my jacket pocket or something, I wouldn't have noticed and would be caught, quote, stealing it or something, walking out, because just wasn't aware. And I don't want to go home. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to work tonight. So, what am I supposed to do? And one of the biggest things that I know would be really beneficial to me that I don't have is a really great support system. I meant it when I said I literally don't have friends. I don't have anyone I call my best friend. The most of the friends I do have better friends or people who aren't me that they hang out with more. or we're just not super close. I only have one living parent, and I'm not really close with that person. We have a weird relationship, and I feel like I can't connect to that person and talk to them about these kind of things because they don't understand. They're lucky enough to not deal with this stuff. And I have one older sibling and 2 younger siblings. The older sibling is kind of in a similar position as me. I don't know exactly what they deal with, but I feel like